Howdy, Summers. We have a lot of DLC for The Sims 4. There are currently 12 expansion packs with another one coming in just a couple weeks, 12 game packs, 18 stuff packs, and 19 kits. And that's not including the holiday DLC because that's free. But with all this DLC, it can be hard to decide which ones to spend your money on. Ultimately, it comes down to your personal preference. If you're not into occults, you probably wouldn't get vampires or werewolves. And if you're not into family gameplay, then Parenthood probably wouldn't be your thing. But if you're like me and you like Sims content no matter what it is, then it's probably a little tougher for you to decide which packs are really worth the money. So today I have decided to rank some of the DLCs with the help of a tier list, specifically the game packs. I did this a long time ago with the expansions, but it's out of date, and I've been considering doing another expansion ranking video, but I think I'm gonna hold off until Growing Together comes out. Keep in mind, my rankings of these packs are purely my own opinion. You don't have to agree, this is just what I think about them. Alright, so this is the tier list that I've made. I have 100% can't play without, pretty good, neutral, can play without, and delete. And I'm gonna rank these packs in order, so we're gonna start at the very beginning with Outdoor Retreat. I feel like I have a bit of a bias towards the earlier DLCs just because in the very beginning, they were still trying to find the way that they wanted to go with DLC, and so a lot of the earlier packs really don't have a lot of content. But for me personally, I don't find Outdoor Retreat that good of a pack. And it's more so because I don't really use the stuff from the pack. Like, I never have my Sims go camping. And also, the clothing in this pack really is just not my favorite. Like, we have some nice, like, kid things, and that's really it. Like, all of the young adult teen stuff clothing just isn't my favorite. There are a few build mode items that I use, like this bed here, and I sometimes use this little fire pit, but other than that, there's really nothing else that I use from this pack, so it's really just kind of meh, I guess. It's not my favorite. So for that, I think I'm actually gonna put and just can play without. I don't think it's something I necessarily need to have, and I could definitely go without it. It is a good addition for like family gameplay, or like if you want your sim to have like a camping night with some friends or something. It's good for that, so I won't put it in the delete, but for me personally, I could live without it. So I don't think I need it in my game. Next up is Spa Day, and with Spa Day, we of course had the refresh some time ago, so some of the content that we have in the pack now, we didn't before. And to me, Spa Day is another pack I don't necessarily use for the gameplay. Like, I really don't have my Sims go to the spas, but they do have some nice clothing and also some nice build and buy stuff. So create a sim wise, we got a lot of athletic type wear, I think, and I struggle to put my Sims in athletic wear a lot just because I feel like we don't have that many nice things. And I definitely feel like if I didn't have this pack that has like a bunch of athletic stuff, then I probably just wouldn't bother with putting my Sims in any athletic wear. Build and buy stuff is fairly nice. I don't feel like I use a lot of the stuff, but it came with some really nice tiles that I do tend to use in the bathrooms a lot. And also we got a couple nice plants around. We have this little like bamboo type of plants. And that's really it. Also, this one here is one of my favorites to use, and just overall, it's a really nice pack. Even if I don't typically use the gameplay for it, I do use a lot of the build and buy stuff just because it's really nice and really pretty. So for that, I'm actually going to put that in pretty good because while it is one of the earlier packs, it actually did fairly well even before the refresh. But I think the refresh definitely helped. Of course, the refresh added the ability for our Sims to have like nails, like get their nails done, which is pretty cool. And I don't have my Sims do that fairly often either. But sometimes it's fun to just send your Sim to a spa and have their nails done. And I think it was a nice addition. So I like Spa Day. And then we got Dine Out, which we know is super buggy and does not entirely work properly. And I know a lot of people want a refresh of it just to fix the bugs. I am one of those people as well. But despite the gameplay being a little bit borked, I do think this is a really nice pack. There isn't a lot of clothing in the pack that is really nice, but I do really like the build and buy stuff. So clothing wise, we got like a few nice things. There's definitely not a lot of clothing in this pack, and I think that's because they definitely focused more on the aesthetic of making restaurants and also like the actual system of running a restaurant, which did not work out very well, unfortunately. There is a Dine Out Reloaded mod by Carl that is pretty good, and it fixes a lot of the stuff that Dine Out has issues with. In terms of build mode, it is very much directed towards the idea of building a restaurant, so a lot of the stuff you probably wouldn't use in your normal households. But it came with some really, really nice plants, including this one, which we call the God plant because it's just the best one in the entire game. And as far as I know, Simmers love putting this thing everywhere. So it's one of my favorite plants for sure. And of course, we have a few other ones around. And yeah, so while it is very heavily based on the idea of actually building a restaurant, there are some nice things that you can put around your house. And yeah, so for that one, I think I'm actually going to put that in neutral. I don't hate the pack, but I definitely wouldn't say it's one of my favorites just because I really don't use the dine out function and it's very borked as we are aware of, and I really am not big on the clothing, so for that I'm kind of neutral about it. I don't have any like strong feelings towards it. Just I would like to see a refresh at some point. All right, the next one is vampires, and this one's going to be a little bit hard for me because I have kind of a weird attachment to this pack, and that it was the first pack that I ever bought on the day of release. Prior to that, I never had been caught up on the packs, and I had to wait until they went on sale to get them. But Vampires was the first pack that I got like super excited for and ended up getting on the day it came out. However, nowadays I am really not big on occults, and I realize that the Vampires pack really is not the best. So looking back through the catalog, the stuff for Create a Sim is really not great. Like some of the stuff just looks really, really weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't use like any of this. I really don't play with vampires much anymore. But I don't know. A lot of this stuff really just kind of missed the mark for me. I feel like vampires are often like really elegant sims, or I don't want to say the Twilight ones, but I think more of like Vampire Diaries stuff with vampires, and I wish that we had gotten some better stuff with this pack because honestly, this is just so weird. And like the makeup on some of this, like I can't. And even the build and buy stuff is a little bit quirky. Like it definitely I feel fits more of the vampire aesthetic in terms of elegance, but there is still a lot of stuff that I just feel like really is not great. And I think I was a lot more excited for this pack when I was in more of a vampire phase when I was younger. And nowadays, I'm just kind of like, why did I get so excited about this? I got excited over the new bassinet, of course, because I love having different bassinets in this game. But everything else really is just kind of weird, and I don't know why I was so excited about it when I was younger, but nowadays it's not my vibe. So unfortunately with vampires, I'm gonna put that in can play without because I don't think I really have that much interest in it anymore, and it's kind of sad to me that I got so excited over a pack that really just didn't really prove as useful to me or exciting to me as I thought it was going to be. I think by now everyone knows that I'm a family game player, so I'm just going to go ahead and take Parenthood and put it right up in 100% can't play without. It is probably my favorite game pack out of all of them. And that is because it just added this whole like new system for kids. It made kids kind of worthy of being played with and slightly less boring. I don't know if that system actually has any effect on The Sims nowadays because so much is broken, but it was a fun system to play with at the time, and I definitely think that it added some kind of new thing to families, and that's what I really liked about it. The Create a Sim stuff actually has like some nice things. I definitely won't say it has the best Create a Sim out of all of them. However, the build mode stuff is top tier for me. I absolutely love a lot of the stuff that came with this pack. And I use this stuff so much. I love the counters from Parenthood. I use it a lot in my kitchens. And overall, I really do think this is just a good pack and definitely one of my favorites for sure. Like, there's so many good things I could say about this pack. I know not everyone is a family game player, and they probably don't really care about the system that was added, but like, if you're someone who likes to build and likes to build like more of like family homes, even if you're not actually a family game player, I definitely recommend getting this pack just for the build buy alone because it does have some really nice stuff in it. So Definitely one of my favorites, and I will always recommend this pack. The next pack is Jungle Adventure, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Jungle Adventure. I've only ever had my Sims engage in that gameplay one time, and it's really just not my thing. The Create a Sim stuff really is not my favorite, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. The build and buy stuff has like a few nice things. Like I know the kitchen set that came with it is really nice, but everything else really is just not my thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like we have some nice chairs, and if I can find them, we have some nice counters that came with this pack. But other than that, I really don't use like any of the things in this pack. It's just really not my thing, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like the worlds that came with it, and I'm sorry, but I don't know. There's something about like, I don't know, excavations or whatever, or like going through a forest to like find a hidden temple. I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, especially in The Sims. It's just too out there for me. And you're gonna hate that I said that based off of one of the later packs, but Jungle Adventure just really isn't my thing. So I'm actually gonna put that in delete because I really don't care about that pack, and I just don't think it's a good pack for me personally. I don't really enjoy any of the content from it. And then we have Strangerville, and Strangerville was a whole experience because if you were on Twitter, you may remember kind of like the chaos that came when they were preparing to introduce us to this pack. The Sims team just went like completely haywire, and we were all kind of terrified and confused by what the heck they were doing. But they had changed all of their profiles to like possessed Sims, and all of their tweets were in like this weird kind of creepy font. And they kept talking about the mother, and we had no clue what was going on at the time, and so we were very freaked out by this. But Strangerville actually ended up being kind of a good pack. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of the whole like story element in The Sims where there's like a very specific story to follow instead of just like making your own. But I actually really liked that, and I am kind of happy with the story. Like, I don't know if I'd want them to do it again necessarily, but I'd say it was quite a time, and I was very intrigued by whatever it was that was going on Twitter before they before they announced the pack officially. Create a Sim wise, we do have like some nice things. Once again, I will say it's not like the best Create a Sim that we have. But we do have a few nice things that came with the pack, and the build buy stuff I think was actually really good, especially the windows and the doors. We got like a nice variety of stuff, and these are probably like the best windows and doors that we have in this entire game. But there is a lot of stuff as well that I really don't think I could use unless I was building some kind of like maybe abandoned or like wore down, weared down? I don't know. Worn down type of build, but windows and doors, very, very nice. And of course, we got the laptops around that time, so that was really cool. For Strangerville, I'm actually gonna put that. Oh, I want to put it in pretty good, but I also feel like I could put it in neutral. I'm gonna say pretty good because I actually don't like dislike the pack at all. I just think some of the build and buy stuff I can't really use, but it has nice windows and doors, and the gameplay is actually kind of fun. So I'm not gonna lie, I like that pack. And then we had Realm of Magic, and I am very sad to say that I was actually disappointed with Realm of Magic. I think it's cool that we got two worlds with this pack because we'd never gotten two worlds with any packs before. But the main world of the pack, Little Glimmerbrook, was just so tiny. There's only 4 lots, and none of them look nice whatsoever. And the Magic World really was underwhelming as well. It's kind of depressing to me because I was really excited for this pack as someone who does practice witchcraft and engages in that kind of stuff. I was really excited to have more of this like magical vibe. But overall, it just kind of missed the mark. It was very lackluster and boring, and I wish it could have been better, honestly. The Create a Sim stuff is not my favorite once again. There are some nice things, I will admit, but overall, it's not great. And the build and buy stuff, it definitely gives off the feeling of magic, but some of it is just kind of too whimsical for me, I feel, and a lot of the stuff I really don't feel like I can use in a normal household. And because I don't really play with the Colts that much, I feel like I don't have a use for a lot of this stuff. But, again, a new bassinet, always look forward to that. But some of these windows are really weird, and the doors aren't my favorite either. But it is what it is. It does a good job at giving off this kind of like whimsical, magical vibe. It's just not my vibe, I guess. So for that, I don't want to put it in delete. I'm gonna say I can play without it. So for any occult lovers, it could be a good pack for you. But for me personally, I just feel like it was underwhelming, and I don't know. It hurts to say that, but it's the truth, at least for me. Y'all are gonna hate me for this next one, but Journey to Batuu, I really like Star Wars, and I am not gonna put it in delete. I will say that. I might actually just put it in neutral, but I'm not gonna say I full on hate it because I don't, and I know a lot of people are very quick to say, nope, Batuu gone. I like Batuu. I have only gone through the gameplay once, but I would like to do one of the other routes, whatever way you say it. Batuu is definitely very different from the other packs in that it was a collaboration, I believe, with Disney. And, you know, it does have some nice things, you can't deny. I will say the Create a Sim stuff is definitely very Batuu based. You probably couldn't have your Sims wear any of the stuff in a normal setting. And of course, we have like some cosmetic stuff to make like all of the aliens and stuff. But other than that, like Create a Sim really is not my favorite thing from this pack. And I know a lot of the build and buy stuff is very hard to incorporate into normal gameplay as well. We got some like kind of nice stone flooring that came with this, and also just a few little like nice decor stuff that you could maybe put around the house. And I actually really like these plants as well. So I know people absolutely hate this pack. I don't hate the pack. And I'm sorry to say, but I'm not putting it in delete. I don't think that the pack should be hated on as much as it is, but I can understand why it is. Alrighty, moving on to Dream Home Decorator. I'm putting that in pretty good because the Create a Sim stuff and the build buy stuff was actually really good. I know the gameplay definitely has some issues and it's very buggy, even if it is just redoing other people's houses. It I've noticed some glitches in my Cardigan Legacy when I had Harmony doing the Dream Home Decorator stuff, but unfortunately that system is just kind of broken and borked, and it makes it very difficult to enjoy that pack in terms of gameplay at least. But the Create a Sim stuff is really, really nice, and I feel like I definitely use a lot of the stuff on my Sims when I'm not using custom content. I do kind of a mix of custom content and like actual game content when I dress my Sims, but this actually has a really cute Create a Sim thing. And of course, the build and buy, we all loved it so much. I don't have as much hype for the sectionals as I know everyone else does. But I will admit it does come with a lot of cute things, and I do find myself using a lot of this very often. I don't feel like it's something that I absolutely would have to have in my game, but the stuff in this pack is very nice, and so for that, it gets it pretty good. So my wedding stories. Around this time, we were kind of having an issue with packs being really buggy and things just not working at all. And my wedding stories, I feel like that was where it really started with all of this like kind of bugginess and like chaos of just packs fully not working. Like this was the worst of the worst at that time. And unfortunately, like even after all of the fixes that they've done for it, there's still stuff that is broken. However, for me personally, I don't think I could live without this pack or play without the pack just because so much of the stuff is nice. The world is beautiful, and I feel like the wedding system really does add more to my family gameplay just because I can set them up with like a real wedding and it actually like kind of be meaningful. I guess I'm in the process of planning my own wedding with my fiance. It is not as stressful in The Sims as it is IRL, I will tell you that. So I will take Sims wedding over my own wedding anytime. Just because it's a little bit easier to plan in The Sims than it is in real life. But the Create a Sim stuff is really nice. I loved getting just a bunch of new dresses. I have said before, I very much feel like formal wear is one of the more overlooked categories, and we don't have like a lot of nice stuff in formal wear. And so I definitely think that this helped it a little bit more. And for that, I'm really happy. The build and buy stuff is absolutely gorgeous, and y'all can think whatever you want of it. I like this pack. And then finally, we have werewolves. And werewolves for me, of course, it is another occult type of gameplay pack, which we know I'm not big on occults in general. However, werewolves was okay. I think I probably could play without it, but I don't know why I would play without it. So Moonwood Mill was the world that came with this pack, and it was actually really nice despite it being kind of small. James Turner built a lot of the places for it, which I love James Turner. He's amazing. He's one of my favorite Sims YouTubers ever. I love watching his videos. And I love his builds especially. Like, he's just so talented. And the world, despite being small, did a really good job of making it feel a lot bigger. The Create a Sim stuff is actually really nice. There's a lot of variety here in terms of like hairstyles and clothing, and I really like that. And I know people still probably don't like the way that the werewolves looked. I don't mind them though. They were terrifying in the other packs, and I definitely prefer them in this game compared to like Sims 2. Have you seen the Sims 2 werewolves? Because oh my gosh, it's so bad. Build and buy stuff, it does have some really nice stuff that came with this pack. A lot of like more kind of rundown vibes as well. So if you are someone who likes building more of this like kind of rundown, abandoned type of builds, then this is definitely something I recommend because we got a lot of like kind of nice, well, not nice, but dingy looking things that are really nice to have. Of course, we got another bassinet, and yeah, like this pack really is kind of one of the better ones, I feel. And also, it just added a bunch of like really cool lore. It kind of made vampires stand out a little bit, and also the realm of magic, like spellcasters. So it did kind of help some of the other packs as well, kind of tying them into that. But the packs themselves are not my favorite. Werewolves is actually okay. I consider it a decent pack. So for that, I'm going to put werewolves actually in, I think, pretty good. So I don't hate the pack. I can't say that I can't play without it, but for what it is, I think it was actually a pretty good pack. And that's from someone who really is not big on occults. Alrighty, but that is all of the current Sims 4 game packs ranked, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun doing this and kind of talking about my thoughts and feelings on each pack. I always get a little bit nervous when making these videos because I know a lot of people won't agree with my stances on certain packs, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Let me know in the comments which packs you guys can't live without and which ones you would absolutely just have removed from your game, not including Batu, because I know a lot of y'all are going to say that Journey Batu can go away. So are there any other packs that you would prefer to just not have existed? Let me know all that stuff, and yeah. With that, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you have notifications on so you don't miss anything. Be sure to follow my socials, links are below. I'll see y'all soon. Bye!